Hello friends, hope you're doing well. This is my new video tutorial on JavaFX TableView. So here I will show you how to split a single TableView column into two. So as you can see on my screen here, this is the part where I will split email column into two columns. First one email 1 and email 2. You can say that you can do like that. The primary email and secondary email. So we have two emails, but we have to use a single email column. So in this scenario, we have to split the column. So how we will do that, I will show you by a simple example. So let's get started here. Here's my NetBeans, and this is the same example that I have shown you in my previous video. So if you have not seen that video, so just follow the below link and watch that video completely, then come back here and watch this video. Then you will get the clear understanding on the table view, and you will able to understand, and you can split the columns into two. So now till now, let me remind you all previous things. So this is our project. In previous project I have used the fxml. There we have a table view, and we have created the person class, which is for the data, and this was the start program from where we have started the execution of program. So just close this. So the major thing happened here inside the initialize method. Now you can see that at the fxml we have defined this fx id in the fxml. So we are injecting that id here, so we will taking the reference of that table view, and finally we are doing operations on that. Now come in the initialize method, we have created the columns with the help of this class table column. After that we have added here all those four columns. Okay, now we finally in the step 2 we have created that observable list with the data, and then associated that data with the columns. Like here's the column which is defined inside the person class. Okay, this is the step 3, associate the data with the columns. Now finally add those data inside the table. So let me run this example, so it will be much clear for you. So this was the table that we have created in the previous video tutorial. Now I will split this email column into two. So just follow the instructions. Okay, now first come here in the fxml document controller.java, and here first I will create those two new columns. So I'm using here the table column class again. So here I'm giving the first table column as a primary email. So actually I'm splitting the email into two parts. That means a single email column is split into the two columns. So first I'm using like primary, and the second one will be like secondary. Okay, first create the column, and now we have to add these two columns inside the email column. That means we're trying to split. Okay, so use that email object, that is which is used for the email column. Here email dot get columns method. Now use the add all method, and now pass the first column and the second column, which is secondary column. So at line number 49 we have done the adding of these two new columns inside the email. So it will be something like here. So one portion is divided into the one. Okay. But in the further requirement we have to add the data inside that column as well. So just wait here and we will do a small change in the person which representing the data. So we have only the 4 columns data, but we need 2 more columns data. That means I need to create new variable here like primary email. First I will show you by adding single data in that column, then I will add to the data for the secondary column, that means the secondary email column. Okay, now so just create the new simple property object here. This is reference and we have to do a small change in the constructor as well. So because we have to initialize that variable with the values which we will pass at the time of creating the person object. So now name it like primary. Okay, now here just add one more line to initialize the primary object with this string value. Okay, this is a simple string property class which has a parameterized constructor and we are passing this value which is a string, and this object is assigning to the reference variable primary, which I have declared at this place at line number 21. Okay, I think this is clear so far. Now once you have done the last thing inside the primary class, we have to create the getter setter for the same. So you can do it manually or you can use the menu for that. So I'm creating a get property for the primary email. Okay, so here you have to give primary object which on which we are using the get object to get the result of the primary email value. In the same way we have to use for the setter, and I'm using the same variable because of lots of variable and lots of confusion, so avoiding the confusion. Okay, now here use the primary object and we're using the set method, so initializing that primary object with the string. So set is setting that string inside this primary object. Okay, so once you're done, so delete it unnecessary space. So these are the main thing I have done inside the primary class, inside the person class. Once you have all done inside the person class, which is going to represent the data for the table view, now come back to fxml document controller where we left. So this line will be remain same, no change, and but here you can see this is throwing and showing some error that construction person cannot apply on the blah blah blah. Actually it's asking for passing the 5th argument, so I will do some change. So let me show you the constructor of person class. 1 2 3 4 5. 5 parameters. Okay, this is the primary and this is the email. So now in this case, the email has no significance. Whatever the value comes inside this table, so it will assign to email the first column on the second column. So now come back to FXML document controller. So at the fourth parameter, I'm just passing the blank string. You can see here. Okay, it is done. The observable list for is created, and you can see here at the fifth position the fifth parameter, which is the email ID. So this email ID will be displayed in the first column, which is for primary. Okay, inside the email column. So you can see here, I think this is clear now. And come to the third step, where we have to associate the data with the column property, which we have defined inside the person class. I think you remember on that. This is the primary. And now I will change email to primary, because the data will be displayed inside the primary column, not inside the email column. So I will use the primary here, and I will do a small change. Also here I have to give that variable name primary, that you can see here. This is the primary, and you have to give the primary at this place. And finally, which is the last step, where we have added this data object inside the table to display all the data inside the table. That's all. Now save the file. Now just take a clean build. And here come back to this file and right click, choose the run file option to launch the application. Okay, now see on the screen, here's my first column ID, second column is name, and the third column is age. Now here you can see this email column has divided into two parts. The first one is primary and what is secondary email. So you can see here, and the data is placed inside the primary column. It is obvious what we were expecting, so it was the target example, and we have done the same thing here. In the results you can see. Okay, so in the similar way we will insert the value inside this secondary email column, okay, which is also a part of this email column. Okay, now just close it. Now come back from the beginning. So first come here in the first come here inside the person class. So I have to create one more column property, that simple string property. So give it a name secondary, and secondary. So I'm adding one more parameter inside the constructor, so whatever you will pass here, so it will be assigned to this. And by using the parameterized constructor of simple string property class, and we are assigning this object to the secondary object reference. Okay, now in a similar way I have to create a getter setter for that. So just copy and paste and do some changes, some minor changes here, like give the name secondary, and here need an object secondary to get the value. Here also need a value secondary. Also here secondary. Change the name of the setter method to secondary. Okay guys, this is all set. We have added one more property here, like which is secondary, that represent the data for the secondary column inside the email column. Okay, and we have modified the constructor. We have added one more parameter here, and the similar way I have added this line and the getter setter for that. Now save this file, come back here in the fxml document controller, just scroll down. We have already created the secondary column, and this is already added inside the email column. But here this is per person constructor which is showing error. So to remove the error, just pass one more parameter which is another email. So I am giving the similar email in all, just for the saving the time. I'm adding this similar email ID for all those columns. This is the observable list which is ready now, and which is representing the data, and we have the primary email and the secondary email, and passing inside the constructor the parameterized constructor for the person class, and this class representing the data. Okay, once you have done this, now come back here and now associate the data with the columns with the same line as we have done previously, using the secondary object and set cell value factory, new property value factory, person class which is string type, and give here the name of the property which is secondary. Now you can see that, yeah, here we have declared this, so we have to use this name here, the secondary. Okay, once we have done it, just take a clean build and now execute the program. Just scroll here. It's looking nice. Okay, now you see that everything is fine as expected. This is ID, this is name, this is age, and this email column which is the broader column, which is the wider, because the length of the email is extended, that's why we getting this scroll bar. So you can stretch the table view, and you can first you have to stretch this outer box, which is a V box. So with the help of fxml, open in the scene builder and just expand it, and you will see the table like here. Let me show you. Open the table view. So table view is inside V box, so I will stretch this V box little bit so the visibility of emails will be clear. Now close it. Now run this example. Okay, now here you can see that, and this is the email, and which is divided into two parts, the primary column and that secondary column, and we have successfully added the data inside these columns. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any doubts, so please comment below. I will try to reply as soon as possible. That's all guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. So please like and subscribe my channel and press the notification bell icon for new video updates. Thanks for watching.